Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel for what is now 7th episode of my career series in MotoGP 21. We are here for Grand Prix d'Aragon. I usually do well at this track, but considering how this season went, I'm not sure I'll base any of my expectations on previous games. And then we have my last of home races in quotations of this season in Misano, San Marino. So there is just a few races left till the end of the season. Contract has been signed for the next season in Moto2, as you have already seen in previous episode. So there is nothing else to do really before this race is on. I'll be doing free practice 3 and off the camera, and then I'll meet you for the qualifying. So free practice 3 went really well. I was fastest there, about half a tenth ahead of Masia, but Garcia had better time from first two practices, so he stopped in the combined times. Still, we made it directly to the Q2, and hopefully I'll have a good qualifying this time around. I'm not afraid to use all of my soft tires in this qualifying because I won't be needing them for the race. So I'm going again for one more lap because I somehow feel that my current lap won't stand as the fastest one in the session. Nicely through the turn 1. A bit wide in turn 3. A bit deep into the hairpin, but still got a good time going on. Much better through turn 10 than before, though I haven't gained any time actually there. And again, not perfect through these two corners, but exit on the straight was a bit better. It's tiniest of margins. Nice through the final corner. I gained a lot of time in there, and that's pole position by almost 7 tenths ahead of Antonelli and Garcia. It was 2 tenths faster than my previous lap, so even if I didn't manage to do this lap, it would still be pole position for me. So yeah, I'm happy with this result, and hopefully race won't provide us any unpleasant surprises. See you at the race. So here we are for the race. We are starting from pole position, as you have seen in qualifying. This is my tire strategy, basically the same I have been using for majority of this season. We have full tank of fuel, medium front end, hard rear tires, and that should work nicely for me. This is the starting grid. We are, as I said, on pole position with Nicola Antonelli and Sergio Garcia in the first row with me. Masia is in fourth, and hopefully he'll stay there or go even further behind and help us stretch our advantage in the championship. So that was the starting grid. Everything is ready for a race. Red lights are on. And this was a great start from me. I went a bit deeper into the turn 1 because I know that AI tends to go deep there. This is actually the second time I'm doing this race. First time I basically dominated the race and won the race, but when I went into replay after the race to take screenshots for thumbnail, the game bugged out. I couldn't exit the screenshot, the replay. It was just spinning around. It was stuck in there and I had to forcibly close the game, which meant that I'll have lost my progress. Luckily, qualifying progress remained untouched, so I have only to redo the race. I have footage of that race on my hard drive, but of course I'm unable to use it and I have to record it all over again because there is no guarantee that results will be the same, and then later episodes and later clips won't make any sense when there is difference in standings in championship. Well, I'm scared to see Masia behind me at penultimate corner because that's where he punted me away in free practice. And that was lap 1 done. We kept our lead from the start. A bit too deep here. But luckily no one was close enough to take the advantage of my mistake, and that's first track limits warning. Nice and easy. We don't need to push too hard. A little bit, yeah, to keep our advantage, but not too hard to make any mistakes. I really don't need to push too much. I'm still leading the championship. It'll be nice to win the race, but if that's not the case, it's not the end of the world. Good points results, I'll be happy with it as well. Bad exit to the back straight. Break a bit of the toe. Here comes Masia. but then I'm much faster at the exit. I give up a bit of time on the entry to the penultimate corner so that I have much better speed at the exit of the last corner onto the start-finish straight, and someone went down. I didn't see who it was. So I'm recording this race just a day or two after Yamaha and Vinales announced that they are terminating their contract with immediate effect, and in my honest opinion that was done about half a year too late. Even in last year it was obvious that Yamaha's biggest problem wasn't the bike anymore, but it was their riders, because both Morbidelli and Quartararo destroyed the factory riders on satellite bikes, and now that Quartararo is on factory bike, he's again showing that the bike is capable of being at the front, and he's actually leading the championship. So I think they made a good choice with terminating the contract with Vinales. Hopefully Morbidelli will get that bike in the next season. I think he deserves that bike, that he's good enough, and that he and Quartararo work very well together, and the team could use that very well. As for satellite bikes, I really hope one bike will be given to Darin Binder. I think he has shown a lot of promise in Moto3, and I think he's better option for SRT team than are Dixon and Vierge. And I also hope that second bike will be given to Dovi. He's a good rider, he can bring them some good results. While Acosta is continuing to push me on here very hard. And actually he overtakes me. So Pedro Acosta is now in the lead. And Nicola Antonelli tried to go by. Power mode 3 and slipstream, and we should pass Acosta easily here. Yes, we are back into the lead. Again, AI is very quick into the penultimate corner, but then they lose on the exit of the last corner. I'm making a lot of tiny mistakes, barely noticeable, mostly consisting of too late of a turn in into the corner. And Acosta is using that to put pressure on me. Too deep in, too late on the brakes. Good exit. Very careful through this corner. And the second track limits warning. Good exit on the back straight. Acosta is still on my tail, but Masia is down in 5th, which is great. Perfect through last corner. It's 2 laps to go now. And a bit better through the turn 1, though still not fast enough, and I missed completely the turn 2. Nicely through here. Little wobble. And the Costas is right back on my tail. And that was completely wrong from me there. And I touched the curbs, so that slowed me even more when exiting onto the back straight. They're closing. I'm lucky that I'm good at last turn. This is the final lap of the race. Missed completely the apex in the turn 1. Antonelli is with me. Front is giving up a bit, especially on the left side. And when it was the most important in the last lap, I went through there finally, as it should be done. So just 2 corners to go. and it should be win at Aragon Grand Prix, and I think it's the fastest lap of the race as well. So we have won the race. Yeah, it was the fastest lap of the race and by big margin. Acosta is second while Masia managed to get onto the podium, overtaking Nicola Antonelli in the last two corners. Sergio Garcia is in fifth. Foggia, Salac, Binder, Migno and Kaito Toba round up top 10. In the championship standings, we are now 20 points in front of Masia, with Pedro Acosta further 11 points behind him. Garcia, Antonelli and Binder are very far away, and I think they don't have realistic chances for the championship. We broke through the 200 point margin, which is great, and hopefully we can carry this form into our last home race of the season in San Marino. This is team championship, we are very far behind, and I don't really care about this.
This victory is the cherry on top of an exhausting weekend. And if his team keeps working like this, it will be really difficult for his
It was a bit harder race than when I first did it, that one which I lost due to bugs. But still the result is the same. It's actually even better because that time Masia finished second and now he's in third, so that's at 5 points more for the championship than I had managed to win over him that time around. So all of our objectives were met, and that gave us a big reputation boost. These are credits. Nice amount of credits again. That will come in nicely, especially if I want to start junior team next season. I haven't done all of the development tests because I didn't really need them, since I have more data than I can spend on upgrades, and the season is nearly finished, so makes no sense. Okay, we are now for San Marino Grand Prix in Misano. We received our upgrades for engine and frame, which means frame is completely upgraded, and it's only one upgrade for the engine left, and that is optimization of fuel consumption, which will reduce our fuel consumption. So we'll get all of our stuff on it. Is that all of them? I think not. Now they're everyone. I think, yeah. So in 5 weeks time we'll have the last upgrade for the engine, which is should be ready just for Phillip Island Grand Prix, for final 3 races of the season. Personal manager, we have some factory contracts, or better said, factory teams that are interested in our abilities, and that's Italtrans, Sky Racing Team, Red Bull KTM IO, and Mark VDS Racing Team. But we already have contracts signed for next season in Moto2, so we don't really care for those. And of course in MotoGP no one really cares about us yet, but maybe if we continue good form in the next season, that will be different. So we have one new candidate for our personal manager, which is George Morgan, and I think I'll sign him on. He seems to be better than the guy that was here now. We also have some technical stuff. new telemetrist, and I don't think he's worth it. So for San Marino Grand Prix we'll have a new special helmet. That's this one in San Marino and colors. Of course, this goldish stripe has been just added by me. It's not there on their flag, but I find it easier that way to find the precise middle of the helmet. So yeah, I put it in there. Number 29 in different font again. Misano written on the sides. My standard number on the back with my standard helmet color as well. And hopefully that will bring me some luck in the race. No, I don't want to exit the career. So what we have: dry race and qualifying, wet free practice 1 and 2. So I'll be doing free practice 3 because it's the same conditions as in the qualifying and close enough to what we'll have in the race. So that's all for now. I'll see you in qualifying. Okay, so practice went well, and we'll go now straight into qualifying session with my fastest lap of that session. This is all done post commentary because for some reason I managed to mute my mic between intro to this race and me going on track in qualifying. So whatever I was talking when I was recording this, I managed to lose. So qualifying was going nicely for me. I made few mistakes already at the start of this lap, but it still was fastest in the first sector. I was going quite cautiously in this hairpin, and I still made a mistake. I just couldn't get the bike stopped, or I got it stopped but too early. Here I purposefully went wide on the entry to get better exit, and I managed to be too late on the throttle, so I still haven't had that much advantage like I wanted to. But still, AI wasn't that big of a challenge in this qualifying session, and even though I had many mistakes in this one lap, I managed to be the fastest, and by quite a big margin. I actually forgot how much faster I was in this qualifying session. So we are coming to the end of the lap, and that was almost on the green and lap invalidated, but I managed to get it in, and it was 2.5 seconds almost faster than anyone else. So these are the final results from qualifying session, and Acosta managed to get in 2 seconds, but that was very dominant performance by me in this session. So now for the race, strategy was the same as always: medium front, hard rear tire, and you can now see the full grid. Masia, our main championship rival, was right behind me, and yeah, hopefully start will be good. I mean, I know how it went, but yeah, you just have to wait and see how it goes. So here we are now for the start. Everything's ready. Red flag is moving off and red lights are on. And we are off for the San Marino Grand Prix. It was decent-ish start, but Antonelli and Masia both went ahead, as well as Fenati and Migno. And here I'm fighting with Suzuki, who's now on the inside. Suzuki went through as well. Now threading the needle between Suzuki and Fenati, and next one is Migno. Quite tight, few bumps and bruises here and there, but at the end we managed to pass Fenati with track limits warning. Luckily, game doesn't require us to give back the position. Quite a big mistake into hairpin, too late on the brakes, and we lost few positions. P7 at this moment behind Pedro Acosta, with Binder trying on my outside and Foggia on the inside. But we managed to hold them off, and we are now back into P7 and hunting down 6 riders in front. So coming to the end of lap 1, we are still trying to make ground on riders in front of me. And that's final corner, nice and easy, safely inside track limits, a little bit behind, and we are now even further behind from the top 6 than we were just a moment ago. So this is the piece of track that I actually gained quite a bit on the AI, this first sector, although I made a small mistake there, and here now as well. This will compromise the exit on this back straight. Pedro Acosta is half a second ahead. Antonelli in lead is 1.8 seconds ahead. I took it much more cautiously this time into hairpin, and it worked. We gained some time on the guys in front, about a tenth of a second. Nicely through this double right corner, and nice exit onto this huge straight. Although it's not actually a straight, it has 2 or even 3 corners in it. But we are gaining all the time on the guys ahead. Here as well, these few corners are where I'm very, very fast, and I mean not fast, but faster than AI. So we gain a lot of time. Final sector is almost done, and I think this was my fastest lap at this point as well. You see now when we pass the finish line, yeah, fastest lap of the race. So lap 3 now. Tires were holding nicely, although rear one tended to overheat through those long corners. On the tail of Acosta, a bit of check up here, and preparing for nice exit onto the back straight. But we are still around half a second behind Acosta. We make some ground, and then I make a mistake and lose that ground. Like here, we're around 4 tenths behind him, and we gained, but it was too late on the brakes, so we lost, and now we are again around 4 tenths behind him. So at this point in the race I was actually a bit worried, because Masia was leading and I was down in 7th, which would gain him quite a bit of ground in championship. And we are nearing the end of the season. I knew that in the next few races my pace was not that great, especially I feared Thailand and Valencia. And next race is in Motegi, which I never went good there. I mean, I did, but that was really on lower difficulty settings, and that's why I feared the rest of the season. So at the moment of me editing this video, as I get another track limits warning, at the moment I'm editing this, and I noticed that my mic was muted while recording. I have already done the whole season, but I won't spoil anything for you. So I'm making a lot of mistakes in these opening laps, opening half of the race in Misano. I'm trying my hardest to catch the guys that are in front of me, and that trying hard is causing me to miss my braking points, miss my turning points, and that shows. Here I got great run on Suzuki. I had to let off the throttle a bit because I would end up in his rear and we will probably both go down, but I managed to pass him through these fast corners, so we are now into P6. Still hoping that Masia would make a mistake or that Migno and Antonelli could go through, but nothing of that happened yet. So that's lap 4 now done, half of the race has been completed. Acosta made some ground on me, he's now about 7/10 ahead. And Suzuki actually touched the rear wheel of mine in that turn 2. Luckily we didn't end up on the ground and our hunt is able to continue. I also have to be careful because I'm already on 3 track limits warnings, and 5 warnings equals a long lap penalty, which I haven't practiced before this race, and that would actually lose me quite some time because I never am able to get that loop at the first try. So gaining somewhat on Acosta, I gained about 2/10 through this lap, which is good. Now I'm getting nice exit onto this long straight. Rear tire, although it's hard tire in the rear, is overheating. I'm spinning really too much on through those long corners, but I just wanted to go forward and I was maybe pushing a bit too hard. Also you can see that front is really worn down on the right side, and that was also one of concerns at this point in the race. There is still 3 laps to go and tires are not having the best of time. So this was another fastest lap of the race. Gained a lot on those 5 guys in front of me. Sacrificed turn 1 in this lap to get a better exit through turn 2 and then through turn 3. And I'm again back at the tail of Acosta, preparing nicely for exit on the back straight. Finally I made a good exit on it, and in the slipstream of Acosta and Fenati going on the outside, braking a bit too late but not too late. I managed to keep it on the track. Acosta went back through, but I'm in a good position to attack in the next corner. So turn 9 and turn 10, and Acosta is behind me. My riding style doesn't really work well with Moto3 bikes because of their small power, and I like to V my corners. I like to go deep in, turn sharply, and then exit hard. And in Moto3 class you really need to keep your lines smooth and keep your corner speed as high as possible. So I think my riding style is better suited for bigger bikes like Moto2 and MotoGP, although braking on these two classes is actually the thing that scares me a lot, to say it like that. I'm not good on it. I mean I can be good at brakes at, I don't know, 1 or 2 laps, but then I seem to forget that those bikes are so powerful on the brakes that they tend to stop me, that I just start riding them like Moto3 bike, and that's when problems start for me. But I have done some work on setups in Moto2, and I think I found a bit of help there through setups, so that my braking is a bit more consistent and I can get better results, although there is some time until we see that in action on this channel. So we are now into P4. We passed Fenati in sector 1 of this lap 7 of 8 in the race, in slipstream of leading trio who are still fighting for positions. Hard on the brakes into turn 14, and there is just one more lap to catch them and try to finish ahead of Masia. So final lap of the race, hard on brakes into turn 1. I'm again going to sacrifice turn 1 a bit for better turn 2, although Fenati tried to foil my plans and he's still there. This is not good for either of us. He's trying to push me aside but runs wide, and I pass him on the inside. So first sector of last lap has been completed. Mino is still in third, Antonelli in second, and Masia in first. At this point I was like, I'm not going to just sit down and wait for them to make a mistake. I'm going to push and go for all or nothing. So I passed Mino into the turn 8 hairpin. I got very close but very wide into turn 10 hairpin, but I got nice exit and passed Mino on the acceleration out of that corner. Now it's Antonelli and Masia, and this is the part of the lap where AI are quite a lot slower than I am, so I'm on the inside of Antonelli. I didn't manage to pass him, that's 4th track limits warning. Antonelli is still in second, 2 corners to go. Just final corner remaining, I'm going in, and will I be able to pass Antonelli in the slipstream? Yes, that's P2 at San Marino Grand Prix. Masia won ahead of myself and Nicola Antonelli, who is just a few thousandths behind me, or is that even the same gap to the winner? But I'm still classified as second, which is great because I lose only 5 points in comparison to Masia. So championship standings, Masia is 15 points behind me, Acosta is 41 points behind me, and it's looking good so far. This was actually a lot harder race than I expected it to be. I expected it to be easier because of how qualifying went, but AI put a lot of fight, and this was actually for the first time that I finished in second place. So far in this season, I finished either in first or somewhere in low points or even outside of points in that few episodes that we had a lot of problems. Celebrating another podium with my team, sporting a special helmet for San Marino Grand Prix, which is like one of my 3 home races in quotes. So reputation went up really nicely. It's 10,100 points for reputation. Credits went nicely as well. We made all objectives that the team asked of us. Development points, we are full and there is not too much to develop still on this bike. So yeah, that was the race in San Marino. This was a very successful episode. Next time we have Motegi and Thailand, races that I'm not really fond of. And as I was saying, we finally found our form. We are back on it, and hopefully we can continue that in the next episode. So we still have 5 races to go, which will be 3 episodes until the end of the season. And yeah, these are my results so far this season. So we are either inside in first or somewhere way off, and we even have one did not finish in Germany. So that will be all from me for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please press like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.